Good morning, everybody. Um, so this video is basically my review of History Channel's Alone series. And for those of you that don't know what Alone series is, it's basically a survival competition between supposed survival experts put into a real life survival situation. And they're put out into the wild with limited supplies. They can only bring 10 items other than their required gear that the show requires them to have, like a med kit, tarp, stuff like that. And it's not like just the wild in general, it's extreme locations. So the first show, I believe, was in the Arctic. Second show was in Vancouver Island. And after that, they moved to like Patagonia. And the one we're on, they're in Mongolia. And all these, without a doubt, extreme environments. Um, Mongolia, I think the most extreme thing about Mongolia being the temperature differences. It's basically like a desert. I mean, it's not really a desert, it's a steppe, but uh, the temperature wise is like being out in the desert. It can be murderously hot during the day and freezing cold at night. The temperatures can change, in an instant. And on top of that, the weather is inclement. So, that being said, they take survival professionals, people who are like SEER instructors, survival instructors, and also people who have, like, I guess, like me, that, you know, do this on a regular basis or have done this on a regular basis and see how long they can survive. So, last man or woman standing wins. Um, However, I swear to God, some of these people lied on their applications because there's just certain things you don't do. I don't know if it's maybe the hunger that's affecting their minds or what, but um, let's give a good example. One of the women used a felling axe to split wood, and she was holding it right. She tried to set it, and after she set it, she's still holding the piece of wood as she's going to split it. As she does this, and she's doing it real lightly because I guess she's afraid to cut her hand. She's doing this. The axe head, bounces up out of the piece of wood and lands right here, in between her thumb and her index finger, and basically severs her tendon. And I'm looking at that like, what in the hell? I mean, how can you be that fucking dumb? And you're a survival expert. And the thing that really bothers me about this is these people teach people how to survive. Another one is another survival instructor decided to hoard food. Didn't really take into account that your body does need calories to survive. You need protein, carbohydrates on a daily basis, and he hoarded all this fish, didn't eat it, and he said he was saving it for later, and tried to survive on tea. Dude lost 25% of his body weight, and they ended up having to pull him on medical because he was just dangerously close to starving. I mean, this dude looked young for his age. I believe he's like 45 or something like that. Looked young for his age, and literally when they pulled him, he looked like a 65-year-old man. I mean, these are rookie fucking mistakes. Another one, when they were in Patagonia, another survival instructor, while she may be a specialist in, plants and herbal things, she decides she wants to go make a sauna room and it basically in the earth during the middle of winter and go run in there naked. And for people that don't know, a lot of insects, especially ones that are active during the winter, that don't actually hibernate or hole up, um, they seek out warmth. So in the jungle, a lot of times you have to make an elevated bed off the forest floor because you'll just attract things like scorpions, centipedes, and other unfavorable creepy crawlies. In the desert, they do it as well. Scorpions are famous for finding people and cuddling. And not necessarily hunting, they're cuddling. Snakes do it too. And they search for warmth. So this chick builds a sauna in the ground and goes in there naked, gets bit by a fucking recluse. Thankfully, she's smart enough, with plant life that she understands how to take care of this. But man, if you saw it, like her bites were basically the flesh was rotting, as most recluse bites do. If you leave it unchecked, and she ended up with swollen lymph nodes in her groin, and watching it, basically, you're about 2 shakes away from organ failure. Then they had there was another one. I mean, it was a real dumbass rookie fucking mistake. Oh, okay. So in Mongolia, there's this another woman. No, in fact, I do believe it was the same woman, spider bite lady. So she's handlining, and when you handline, you're always cautious of the hook. And this chick is like trying to fly fish with a handline, and I don't know what the hell she was thinking. She didn't really set the hook into the fish, so when she tried to pull the fish up, it let loose, and then it landed kind of in the same spot, like right above the thumb, kind of close to the index finger, and it's a hook. So most people who don't know about fishing hooks, they're barbed. Most of these fishing hooks, especially survival fishing hooks, are barbed. So it ended up lodged into her hand, and I think she said it felt like it was wrapped around the thumb tendon, because every time she tried to pull it, her thumb would move. So then she decides she's going to try and cut the eye out with a knife, and the whole time I'm cringing, just because what the fuck are you doing? If it's that close to the tendon, you're done. I mean, you could pull it out, but you risk serious permanent injury. I've torn a tendon. I do believe it, not my hamstring, but my thigh tendon, and I pay for it dearly every day. It's something that's not going to go away. So now she's sitting there with this hook in her hand, and she treats it with herbs, with a coagulant to stop the bleeding, and she's sitting there trying to pull it out backwards. These are survival experts. For those of you that don't know, when you get a hook stuck in you, you need to cut the eye out and push it through, because there's a barb. You don't want to pull it back out. Same thing. Another example is same guy who starved himself to death, basically. He fired a broadhead at, I think it was not an egret, might have been an egret. I forgot what the fuck it was. A big ass bird. So he fires it at it, and he says, I hit it. And you see the arrow stuck in the water. I'm like, no, you didn't. You didn't hit that motherfucker, because especially with a broadhead, and who the fuck shoots at birds with broadheads? It's the kind of thing that it just bothers me. Another thing is, what was the other one? It was a real big red flag. Real. Oh, okay, so a lot of these people go into this competition knowing that they're utterly alone. They don't have any other human contact except for the medical evaluation staff that comes by every once in a while to check them out. You go into this knowing your social situation. You're stuck out there alone by your damn self. And these people make it so far, 35 days, 45 days, 55 days into the competition, and they start to break down because they're lonely. You knew you were going to be alone. If you can't deal with mental solitude, you should never go into a competition like that, because solitude can do funny things to people. It can make you go crazy. It can make you it just does a lot on people. Solitude can really mess with your head. So these kind of things, and these are supposed survival experts. And because of this, the show's been questioned to be fake. But I believe I gotta go. My baby's crying. In short, believe that the show it's not scripted as it is. Although some of these people are clearly freaking actors, um, meaning that they joined just to get FaceTime. Pretty sure they don't know what they were doing, um, and they lied on their applications. That kind of shit is dangerous. And the thing that really bothered me was they had like this acclimation camp in Mongolia for them to understand and get to know the geographical location, because not many people do know about the Mongolian steppe. And they have their little tent set up, and they've got Pringles and all this junk food that you're not gonna have. If it's supposed to be an acclimation camp, shouldn't you be getting people acclimated to what they're actually gonna be eating? You know, you want to prepare your body for something like that. That's the kind of shit that bothers me. I don't know. So this is just me looking at it from my point of view, because I've done things like this. So why don't you go check it out, make your own assessment, and let me know.